Hi, I'm Dave. This is a 1985 Suzuki GS 700 ES. It's very much the same as the early to mid 80s 750s. The 700 and the 750s are almost identical. They did a little change to the bore to get you smaller displacement because of the tariff to protect Harley-Davidson in 1985. This bike was a complete basket case. I've stripped it down to frame off, complete restoration. And I got it all put back together, and I'm finding the rear brakes are binding. It goes, the wheel will spin, you can push the bike, but when you ride, you can feel it dragging, almost as if you had the parking brake on in your car. So I want to show you a couple of things that I discovered, one of which just totally blew my mind. And actually, I had the brakes all put back together, and I took them back apart just to shoot this video, because I have to show you this. So a couple of things I want you to see. First of all, you see here in the caliper, these are the slides. This is your brake. You see this retainer spring right here? This goes under the two slides. It has the act of continuing to push the brake pad down in. That I'm trying to show you right there. There it is, that one. That Allen bolt, and there's another on the other side. It allows you to take this caliper in half, so you can get it each the inboard and the outboard piston, making it a whole lot easier to disassemble. So I took this whole caliper off. I popped out those Allen bolts. I put a little thread lubricant on them because these are steel bolts and this aluminum caliper. They tend to react. Actually, getting a really good view from here. You can see the cotter pin right there. There's one cotter pin. The other one's over here. So there's the cotter pins. This is the slide, this metal bar. I had to shine that up so the brakes would slide back and forth. These retainer pins down. So that's the reassembly of the caliper. It's really pretty straightforward. Wasn't that complicated. It took me about an hour. But this is what blew my mind, and I hope that I can get a good view here to show you. This bar here goes between the swing arm, right here. This is where this end connects, like that, see? And at this end, at the brake caliper. Like that, right? And this is going to be tricky to try to show you. I hope I can do this, because this is what the main thing I wanted to show you. These are the two shoulder bolts. See that the shaft of the bolt is a larger diameter than the thread. Let it fall. This one is the same size. This one goes on the caliper. This one goes on the swing arm at the front, and they have to go that way. Now, let's look at this bar here. I'm not sure which end this is. Let me take a look. Okay, watch this. That bolt won't go in, and it won't go in from the back either. See? That bolt won't fit through these holes. This is the caliper end. It's hard to flip around because this bolt will prevent you from flipping it around, because this bolt also won't fit in there. See? So that makes sure you get these things on the correct end. If you try to flip it around, it's not going to work. All right, good. Okay, so watch this. I'm going to take this bolt. Hopefully I can do it, you know what I mean? It's hard to hold the phone and do this. All right, let me see if I can do it. I'm going to take the bolt, and we're going to get this sucker. All right, see, that's unfortunately. Check it out. But you can see that's in there, right? And you can see that this bar now slides up and down, and look at it descend. Am I showing you the end? Yes. See how nicely that fits on? Okay, that's the correct way to do it. Let me show you what happens if you do it the wrong way. Let's flip this over. And let's get this bolt in here. There you go, bolt is in there, right? See? Look at this end. Am I showing you? Yep, look at this end. It won't fit. Now, if I pull this to the front, I can force it. I'm showing you, because this is the important part. Yeah, okay, this is exactly what I want to show you. If I pull this to the front, I can force it on there. But what that's doing is that's taking this caliper and it's twisting it. So this back edge and this front edge, actually leading edge and trailing edge of the brake shoe is dragging on the brake now. If you put this bar on backwards, you torque this brake caliper and you bind your rear brake. So if you're working on these bikes, this is the point I wanted to show you. If you're working on these bikes and you're having trouble with that rear brake binding, here's the thing. You have to put this the proper orientation. If you twist it the wrong way, it doesn't line up. Now, I first thought this damn thing was bent. Here's another clue. Again, I told you this bolt's fatter on one side than it is on the other. Look. It fits through from there. In this case, from the back. It won't fit through from the front. That's how you know this is wrong. This bolt goes in from the front. The acorn nut, the castle nut goes on the back. If you do it the wrong way, you bind up your brake. So now let's do it the right way. The bigger hole goes there. And the bigger bolt, the bigger shoulder bolt, goes in from the front. Like that. Now, this slides freely. There's no pressure on your brake caliper or your rotor. That is what I discovered that was totally blowing my mind. And like I said, now I took this bike apart, completely apart. So it's very likely that was my fault. I may have been the one who screwed that up. Or maybe it was like that when I took it apart and I just put it back together the same way I found it. But either way, that was the problem. That's why my brakes were binding. It's important to know. Check that out. This is the Suzuki GS series in the 1980s. Anything with this sort of brake configuration, watch this metal bar, this retainer bar. If it goes on the wrong way, your brakes are going to bind. Blew my mind. I think I fixed it.